oh, thank you for remembering that, because I could.
Welcome.
This is going to be a nice, easy, intimate discussion for an hour. We can hold all kinds of wonderful ideas together. I am presenting, along with Frank Adamson, I am Phil Seamus. I am the District Service Projects Chair, and I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Hamilton Stony Creek, which is the combined club of Hamilton East Wentworth and Stony Creek. We came together about 6-8 months ago and took two small clubs and created one mighty club. So it's great to be together and be able to do more together. Frank, you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm, as you probably remember or may remember, I'm your immediate past district governor or pandemic district governor, and I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Font Hill, Ontario.
All righty, so I'm just gonna start us off. Thank you very much, Frank, with a quick video here.
Possibilities are all around us. Everywhere we look, we see opportunity. In unexpected places. When we share our ideas with others, we know they'll see it too. Bring new perspectives, unique skills, take action in the communities all around the world that we call home. When people come together, when real change happens, transforming an old bus, providing life-saving equipment to those who need it most, fighting disease, building schools. We turn what we see into what we've done. We are people of action.
I think that video says it all. It's being folks who like to take action to get things done and to do it with the element of service in everything we do. So one of the ways we've all participated recently, or almost all participated recently, in Rotary in a big way has been through the Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup, which Frank was instrumental in not only launching, but promoting right across the district. And if you haven't had a chance to yet, you should go over to our Facebook page. Let me just see if I can bring it up here really quickly, just to give you an idea of what is there. Here's, oops, that's the, let me just share my screen again. All right, so this is through our own district website. It has a lot of information about the Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup. And has everybody in this group participated in the Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup? Has anybody participated in the Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup? Who's in the group? Yes. Well, it was an awful lot of fun. Oh, we got some more people coming in. Here comes Sandra Hall.
I got it.
You got it? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So this is a link here. This is going to be an ongoing project, but we first did this. This was I guess a pandemic project. It was something that we're able to do because it was outside and we were able to keep well separated. And it continued along quite nicely in the fall and again this past spring for Earth Day weekend. And lots of Rotarians and clubs in our district participated. And if we go to our Facebook page, you can see some fabulous, oops, that didn't take us there. Links. That should have taken us straight to our Facebook page. There it is. lots of images, lots of videos. People were having an awful lot of fun. And one of the great things about large scale projects like this that involve more than one club, in this case, there are actually our entire district, was that it really shows what Rotary is all about. And it gives you a sense of community as Rotarians, as well as a sense of giving back to the communities that you live in. And from a PR perspective, there is nothing better than seeing dozens and dozens of Rotarians and friends and family of Rotarians along a path or a beach doing work in their community with all their Rotary emblems all over the place. The number of people that I had come up to me, and I was told by other Rotarians, people had come up to them that thanked them for the service that they did. It was huge. And if you look at all these pictures, everyone's having, it's a little bit hard to see because it's fuzzy, but people are having a fabulous time. They really are enjoying themselves. They are, you know, where do you get people, you know, all excited about garbage? You don't get that on Thursday night if Thursday night's your trash night. But here we are, all having a great time picking up garbage. And there's some great videos here as well. And there we go again, more happy garbage pickers. So it's one of the few things you can do that gets people out there and has a great time and gets some great motivation in the community. This was a wonderful video that one of the clubs posted.
That's good.
So, I mean, the large scale days of action are wonderful for promoting not just Rotary in our community, but for helping us all have a great time together, to know that we're all part of something larger than our clubs and larger in many cases than our district. It's a wonderful way to get the word out and to make new friends and to participate at a greater level. Now, Frank wants to talk about a great program that's coming up that's going to give many of our Rotarians in our district an opportunity to participate on a larger scale. So I'll pass it on to Frank.
Thank you, Phil. I'll just get out of this maybe, I hope.
Oops, hold on here. Is this?
1 second. Okay, can you all see that?
Yep, oh, I can see it well.
Okay, very good. Okay, thanks so much. So something that's coming to Niagara this year, this August, is the Summer Games. So the Canada Summer Games was a brainchild of somebody in our centennial year in 1967, where they thought it would be great to bring amateur athletes together on a venue to do what they do best. And it runs every 2 years, and it's been running ever since 1967 in Canada, very similar to the Commonwealth Games or to the Olympics. So it's the largest multi-sport event in Canada, and it's, as indicated, it's hosted every 2 years in a province or the 3 territories. And to this point in time, 22 communities have hosted the games. And each game represent athletes from over 700 communities across the country. They're starting in just a little less than 100 days in the Niagara region. And unlike most games that are specific to a city like Toronto or Ottawa or Winnipeg, these are spread out throughout the regional municipality of Niagara and the 12 municipalities within the Niagara region. So they run from the 6th of August to the 21st, so a period of about 2 weeks. And they've helped to develop some pretty awesome athletes. Andre DeGrasse, you'll see here, Haley Wickenheiser, Sidney Crosby, and others have been members of or participants of Canada Summer Games in the past, and have obviously gone on to greater sporting rewards. The idea is that we inspire, transform, and unify people. Why isn't it? Okay, so it takes an awful lot of time, effort, money to put one of these on. Basically, there's over 4,500 participants, including athletes, coaches, and support staff. There will be in excess of 4,000 volunteers, including bilingual volunteers. And the Niagara region is made up of 12 municipalities or lower tier municipalities, and then the region itself, all of which are participating in the games. And these are the games. So we have track and field. Basically, baseball is happening in Grimsby. We've got basketball, box lacrosse is happening at the new site in St. Catharines. We have kayaking in Welland. Cycling and mountain bike is going to be happening in Pelham. We've got golf, rowing, rugby is a new event, beach volleyball, tennis, swimming, so on and so forth. Softball in Grimsby as well. So there's 17 competition venues. The only one that doesn't have a venue is the town of Winfleet, or township of Winfleet, which is very small. They are involved with the Torch Young, however. So what they wanted to do is take advantage of a lot of the facilities that they had. We built a brand new facility at Brock and upgraded the facility at the Royal Henley rowing course in Port Dalhousie, which is part of St. Catharines. So it's not just the athletics. There's a lot of education that goes with this in regards to Indigenous people as well. We are intimately involved in the torch relay, and I'll talk a bit more about that as we progress. But basically, in regards to that, Paul Snack, who's a past president of my club in Fonthill, and I were at a volunteer recognition dinner put on by the town 3 years ago, and there was a presentation in regards to the games by two staff people involved in marketing. And Paul and I approached them after the fact. So they said that they would be looking for up to 5,000 volunteers. So we approached them and said, you know, I think Rotary might like to get involved in this. Certainly our club would get involved in this. And maybe there's an opportunity for us to partner with you. And as a result of that, they came back to us about a year ago to say, would you folks like to be involved in the torch relay, which is going to happen in all 12 municipalities. And so we sort of jumped on that and then threw it out to other clubs within the Niagara region, of which we have 14, which includes Denville, which is part of Area 7, which is part of my area, and 2 Rotaract clubs, the Brock Club and the Niagara Community Club, that are going to be involved as well. So the whole idea of the games is to connect people, to connect communities, to build excitement, and that has been building over the last year or so. These should have happened last year, but again, because of the pandemic, they were put off for a year. The facility in St. Catharines, which is a $107 million brand new venue, was not going to be ready last year because of construction delays with COVID. And here's some people doing the torch run, which we'll be intimately involved in. Canada Steamship Lines is the premier sponsor for this event, which is, I suspect, costing them 6 figures. And this is their steamship, the Welland, and the Top Hat ceremony, which is the opening of the canal every year, happened in early April, and this mural on the Welland was unveiled, and it's basically showing 4 different Indigenous peoples across the country doing their run. And this was painted by 4 different artists, and that is 5 stories tall. So this is pretty big. So why the ship and what's happening here? Basically, the torch will travel by ship through the Welland Canal. during a single day. And Lock 3, there's a viewing stand there, and the St. Catharines Library, it's making a pit stop there. And at Lock 8, which is in Port Colborne. So this torch run is happening on weekends starting Saturday, June the 25th. So the very first run is Thorold, and that's being sponsored by the 2 Rotaract clubs. The next day it moves to Niagara Falls, and then the next weekend it goes to Fort Erie, Port Colborne, and then it goes to Wainfleet, it goes to Welland. It's in Pelham on the 16th of June, which is also our Pelham Summerfest Festival, which attracts about 40,000 people. So that's going to be kind of neat. West Lincoln, and then the following weeks. And then basically it's going to end up in St. Catharines at the end. And so the start of it is the 25th of June in Thorold, as I said, and we have the opportunity to have a in-person changeover of governors this year. Of course, that didn't happen in my year, and it didn't happen in Anne's year as well. But in speaking to Lisa Bishop and Dan Birmingham, they were delighted to be able to take this in person. There will be a virtual one on the Monday as well as the Saturday, but basically we have nominated DG Ann and DG Lisa to be torchbearers, and they are going to be 2 of 17 torchbearers in Thorold, and they're going to run the torch into the finish line. And we're also happy to be able to announce that Rotary International Vice President Valerie Wafer is going to be present. This will probably be one of her last official duties as Vice President. We threw an invitation out to Jennifer Jones as well, but as you probably know, she's doing a cross-Canada tour, which is happening during the week before this and the week after, so she's not going to be there. We're inviting Rotarians from across the district to come out to be a part of the torch run. And as I said, this run is being coordinated by the Rotaract Club of Brock and the Rotaract Club of Niagara. So this is a fundraiser opportunity for Rotarians within the Niagara region and the Rotaractors. So anybody that's going to run with or behind a torchbearer is going to be asked to purchase a t-shirt for $25, and we have 15% of these to sell, and that should say 40% of sales are going to the games organization, 60% are coming to the Rotary Club. This is the logo, so on the left is what's going to be on the front. So once and for all, so the once is that this is going to be here once and once only, and that everybody in the community has an opportunity to be involved with the games. And you'll see the Rotary Clubs of Niagara logo on there, along with their logo. And then this is the back of it, so it's basically symbolic of a torch. So we have 1,500 of these available for sale. The opening ceremony, which is the last one, is going to be at the Meridian Center in St. Catharines, and they'll have a mock-up of the Canada Steamship Line's ship there, and we'll do a mini top hat ceremony, which will be the start of the games and the lighting of the cauldron. This sits 5,000 people, and these seats are very rapidly selling out. And then there'll be a closing ceremony, which is going to be at Oaks Park in Niagara Falls on the last day of them. So throughout there are cultural and musical performances, of course, the lighting of the cauldron, the athlete parading onto the floor. This will be nationally broadcast. There's fireworks, so on and so forth. And from here it goes to PEI next year, and so the torch will be handed over at Oaks Park at that point in time. Very big Indigenous component to the games in recognition of Indigenous peoples across the country and in Niagara as well. They're calling it the Cultural Festival 13 for 13, so the 12 municipalities plus the regional municipality of Niagara. And each venue has a activity. As I said, in Pelham, it's going to be bike racing, which is going to start downtown and end downtown. And we're recognizing Calgary, Alberta, I should say Alberta, as is being sponsored by Pelham, and different communities are sponsoring different territories. And there's going to be a site at the Canada Games site, which is going to be open for 15 days. So they say that this is going to bring $400 million to Niagara through tourism, hotels, restaurants, so on and so forth. People will be here over a 2-week period of time. Basically, what the legacy is the 2 facilities. So this is the Henley, so a new viewing stand at Henley Regatta in Port Dalhousie and St. Catharines will be left after the games are done. And this is the site, the $107 million facility at Brock University across from regional headquarters. That roof looks a little brown. It's actually grass, different kinds of grasses that turn different colors. I don't know who's going to get up there and mow it, but I saw them actually laying the sod, which was kind of unique. Basically, this site has 2 hockey rinks, 4 basketball courts, a big inside track. Part of the legacy is that there's a coronary rehab program that Brock University runs at the bottom of the escarpment. That's going to be moving into this site. There's an outdoor track, and beach volleyball is going to be here as well. And the ongoing festival is going to be here as well. So this is called Niagara Place. And as you see, they'll have entertainment there daily. It's the premier activation spot, so daytime gathering. And there will be food vendors. There will be wine, cider, beer sales. And we are fortunate to be given the opportunity as Rotary and Rotaract clubs to man the beer tent, which is going to be beer provided by Bench Brewery. So beer, cider, and some sort of tonic. And all of the earnings from that go directly to the Rotary clubs that are going to be involved in this. So similar to Ribfest that happened in St. Catharines and Niagara Falls, the Sunrise Club, that's where they make their money, is basically in the booze sales. And so we're going to have that opportunity over a period of 2 weeks. So this map just sort of shows the layout there. We're at the very top where it says beer and cider, which is right here. And we're right by the stage. This is going to attract an awful lot of people. They figure, so this is 135,000 square feet with an on-site capacity of around 8,700 people. And literally tens of thousands of people are going to be going through here over a 2-week period. So that's Canada Games Park. Picture of the inside track at the game site, and one of the 2 hockey rinks that are there as well. So all 14 clubs and Rotaract clubs will participate. Those people need to have Smart Serve certification, which is pretty easy to do online, and a lot of Rotarians already have that. And the sales will be divided on a per capita basis, depending on who's coming out and helping out. So there's an Indigenous Partnership Council for the first time ever, and representatives from local, provincial, and national communities and groups formed this council to strengthen Indigenous participation and education throughout the games, which I think is pretty neat. So again, as I mentioned, they're looking for around 5,000 volunteers. I think right now they've got over 3,500 signed up, and we've got about 400 Rotarians to be involved. So the torch runs at each point where the torch is being passed. There'll be a Rotarian or a friend of Rotary. They'll have a uniform as well, and they're just to see that that's safely handed over to the next torchbearer, and that's happening in all of the communities. So Rotary involvement, we're involved with the bid committee, the transition committee, the whole society board. Rotarians have been Canada Games athletes. Trevor Van Ness from the Rotary Club of St. Catharines is one of those. Rotary supplied them with a letter of endorsement, which was signed by George Dart when he was the president of the St. Catharines Club. And as I mentioned, Paul and I happened to be at a venue where we threw our support behind it and suggested we could probably pull some volunteers together. And so we are the key support along with Canada Steamship Lines for the torch run and for beer sales at Niagara Place. And the Rib Fest in St. Catharines is thankfully happening again this year. And that is seen as part of the unofficial kickoff to the games on the Sunday that the torch is being lit at Meridian Community Center. There is a newsletter that's out there. There's information at info@22 Canada Games. They're also on Facebook if you're looking for any more information. So that's a bit of an idea of how we're involved and how we got involved with the games. Again, a once in a lifetime opportunity, but just a great opportunity for Rotary to showcase all the great stuff we do. So we will have a booth at the Canada Games site as well, again with banners from all the different clubs and an opportunity to hand out literature in regards for club specific literature from the clubs and what it is that Rotary do and does, and hopefully that will help us to attract membership, same way as the blood donor clinics have done in some of the communities, or the Great Lakes watershed cleanup as well. So that's basically what's going to be happening starting June the 25th and going through until the third week of August. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them. Graham?
Am I on?
Yes.
Yes.
Just a very, very personal question. I'm interested in volunteering for both the kayak venue and for the cycling. So who do I approach, or how do I get on a list? Or
Yeah, so if you just Google Canada Summer Games and volunteers, and go on there, and there's a form to fill out, and you can indicate what it is you're interested in doing.
Okay.
In that regard, so yeah. Which means I'll see you in Pelham.
Yep.
I have a question, Frank.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning the 14 clubs in the Niagara region.
Yeah.
How about clubs outside of the Niagara region in our district? Are we looking for volunteers from all the rest of the district as well?
We're certainly, what I'm really looking for, Phil, is and hoping that, and so is Lisa, is that obviously the invite is going out for that first torch run and for the changeover. And it would be really great to have Rotarians there. We got Dunnville involved in that. They are part of Area 7, even though Dunnville isn't in Niagara, but there's no Rotary Club in Wainfleet. And so for the torch run in Wainfleet, I asked them if they would take that on. And I essentially did this presentation for them, and they sort of thought, yeah, we actually have some members that live in Wainfleet. And so they took that on. But yeah, if there's people interested across, there's jobs for everybody if they want to get involved with any element of the games. They can just contact myself.
Sure, and I would imagine even for people like Lisa here, who's in the States, it's there aren't going to be very many American athletes participating, being the Canada Summer Games, but you never know, right? Some people might have dual citizenship, but it would still be a lot of fun to participate, right? There'd be a lot of great opportunities to see some amazing athletes and just have the fun of being part of a big event like this.
Yeah, just with the border being reopened again, and not having to you have to use the CAN pass to get into the country, but you don't have to do the testing to come in or to get back into the States, which makes it a lot simpler. So yeah, that was part of the idea for this presentation, so that we could throw that out there and invite our American Rotarians in the district to come out to especially come out to that opening torch run. That'd be pretty awesome, and the changeover in person for the first time in 3 years.
Well, what do you think, Lisa? Do you think there'd be a lot of folks from your side of the border that would be interested in coming over for an event like this?
Possibly, because I think it's a very exciting thing, just hearing more detail, hearing more about it. And I too have a personal question because I do have a Canadian side of my family, and we are having a family picnic in London on the same day. So do you know what time of day the changeover is going to happen? Because I'm trying to figure out how I can do both and go from one to the other.
Yeah, it's in the morning of the 25th. The run starts at 9, is going to finish probably somewhere around 10:30, quarter to 11. The changeover is going to start at between 11 and 11:30.
Thank you.
How about you, Monica? Are you on this side of the border or the other side of the border? Actually, it's on the Canadian side or the American side?
No, I'm on the Niagara Falls part, and I'm
Niagara Falls, New
involved
York, or
with, sorry?
Niagara Falls, New York, or Niagara Falls, Canada?
Yeah,
Niagara
there we
Falls, Canada. And I'm involved with the torch relay in Niagara Falls, and I'm also a games volunteer.
Wonderful. That's good to hear. And how about Sandra? Where are you located?
I'm here in St. Catharines and I'm involved in the torch run as well.
Oh, fantastic. Isn't that exciting? So we just have to get some of our American friends to decide to come on over.
If we want to buy a shirt, will you ship them to the US? Like,
Yeah, we can, for sure, we can figure out how to get them over there.
Yeah, I would imagine the postal service would work. And because they're less than $800, there'd be no duty. So-
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, they're a nice souvenir piece, and the fact they got the Rotary Clubs of Niagara on the logo is something we helped design.
It is possible. Sorry, go ahead, Fred.
I just say it's a good fundraiser for Rotary. It's about $9 profit for every shirt that we sell. Is going back to Rotary Clubs, the Rotary Clubs that sell them.
That's great. Cool. So, I mean, that's an example of a great big Rotary Day. Thank you very much for that presentation, Frank. That is going to be an amazing event. And I think a lot of Rotarians, even outside the Niagara region, are going to be excited about participating. When just on the border of the Niagara region, being here in Stony Creek, Grimsby is where Niagara region officially starts. And I'm like a 10-minute drive. So, so I'm not officially, but I have a winery like 5 minutes from me. So I don't know if that counts. Makes us kind of Niagara-ish. And one of our members actually owns a vineyard. So there you go.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, it's going to be a really exciting event, and I know that a lot of Rotarians in our district are going to want to participate, as well as their family. Don't forget to get their family and friends involved too. So
Absolutely,
that would be awesome. Couple things to think about when you are considering other projects. I'm going to bring up a document here and share my screen. Oops, I should open up the document too wide to share my screen. Let's share the screen first. And where did the document go? There it is. Okay, so if you're considering hosting a Rotary Day, here are some of the things that you want to consider. Every different size of Rotary Club can look at hosting a Rotary Day. And the best way to host a Rotary Day is to get multiple clubs together. Big projects for a Rotary Day are difficult to do on your own, but just as with the Canada Games, when you can get a whole slew of clubs together, you can make a much greater difference. And we also don't want to forget about our Rotaractors and Interactors. Rotaract, of course, is going to become full-fledged Rotarians this summer. And we want to make sure that they feel welcome and invited and encouraged to participate in all of our Rotary events. We also potentially want to look at working with other service clubs and other volunteers in the community. That's really important. Now, our Rotary District, I don't think we have community corps at any of our clubs. Frank, do you know if we do?
I don't believe so.
Okay, good opportunity though, if we are, you know, people who are considering setting up a community corps to do that would be if we're having a large Rotary Day of action. Any community centers, recreation centers is a good way for you to go out and post your large area volunteer opportunities. You want to get involved with other civic leaders as well. Could be your local alderman, whoever is your local politicians, get them involved. They often know community people who are interested in getting involved, and they themselves will often get involved in your community project at more than just a ribbon cutting level. They'll actually get in their hands on. And finally, local businesses are a fantastic place to source volunteers. And if you can get lots of participation from some of your local businesses, you'll find that some of them might decide they want to become Rotarians as well. So certainly something for you to consider there is all of these aspects of putting together your day of action. Any questions about that? There's another good document actually that you can get off of the RA website. Let me just see if I can pull it up quickly here. Actually, while I do that, there was Rotary Showcase. Sorry, Frank, did you have anything you wanted to say in the meantime while I try to find this other document?
Just on Community Corps, one thing that we are working on the American side is Peace Corps and more involvement with the Peace Corps. That's something Kevin Crosby's been working on with someone that's a Rotary that's a past Peace Corps member. So
that's great. What tells more about the Peace Corps?
I really, being Canadian, I really don't know a whole bunch about it other than it's been around for, well, since Kennedy's JFK's time. The Peace Corps started. Where university, college grads go to a foreign country for a period of time and work on service projects.
So is that a separate organization from the Rotary version?
Yeah, it is. But they're looking to see how they can get connected with Rotary and maybe have a club that is a Peace Corps club.
Okay. All right.
Early days, but we're looking at trying to do something there.
Okay, that sounds good. So I just found a video, by the way, that is there was a whole series of videos that were posted on Rotary Days back in I guess around 2014, 2017, around there. And there must have been a competition because the whole slew of videos posted to the Rotary Service in Action, Rotary Service blog. That's rotaryserviceblog.org. And that's a site that you definitely want to go to. It's a great place for clubs to share ideas that go beyond just a quick half a paragraph of a description and a contact. It's a typical blog where there are videos posted, stories posted, and it is story oriented. So it's a great opportunity. Let me just share that here. Let me pull this up. So there we are. I don't know if you can see that. It's called rotaryserviceblog.org. And this particular page was celebrating our Rotary Days. And there's a whole bunch of videos here on Rotary Days. Now, most of these involved the Rotary International president visiting, and they set up big events to go along with it. And it will really give you an idea of these dozen or so videos, what they're doing in some countries. So the winner of the video really showcases the time that they spent. The winner video, I'll start around the middle because there's a lot of sort of, there we go, flop at the beginning, but
In regards to this, Jennifer Jones is doing a cross Canada tour. And as I mentioned, she'll be in Toronto on July the 5th. And basically, we're doing a Great Lakes watershed cleanup as part of that. We're doing food packaging, and then there's going to be a barbecue at the end of the day as a fundraiser for polio. So the same idea here is what you're seeing. Past Rotary President Gary was doing in his year. I think he was 2013, 2014, somewhere in there.
So yeah, that gives you an idea of, all the different things that can be done in a Rotary Day. As Frank said, I mean, it's great to take an opportunity when Jennifer Jones comes up as our new international Rotary president to do some exciting stuff, right? When you have a Rotary Day, it goes far beyond just the fancy glitz and glamour as you saw in some of those shots. Certainly there are those dinners where you get all dressed up and go and have a nice dinner with the Rotary International president. But I think the better stuff by far is the fun activities that happen during the day, that happen with kids and the community, and all the fun, the laughter and the joy and the entertainment, and getting that into the community. I think that's even better than the nice gala dinner that happens in the evening. Personally, anyways, that's my favorite stuff. So having a large scale days action, I've seen videos from around the world and presentations from around the world where these days of action become huge events in their communities. So they can be, we've all done and seen smaller events, very successful events like our latest Great Lakes watershed cleanup. But if you look into some of the events that are going on around the world and have happened around the world, there are massive festivals that take place in certain towns and cities that are all Rotary sponsored. One actually happens just up north here in Canada in the Sault Ste. Marie every year has what's called Rotary Fest. Rotary Fest has a giant parade. It's their main summer parade. All of the community groups participate. It's your typical small town parade with everything from baton twirlers to bands to floats to every community group participating. It's called Rotary Fest. It takes place at a big park there. They've got entertainment. Think of any big summer festival that any town or city has. It's sponsored by Rotary, and everybody knows what Rotary is all about because of this great big festival that they have. And it really showcases the Rotary and what they do in their communities as well. I've seen that happen not just in Canada. I've seen that happen around the world. There's a few fantastic videos out there in Asia and in India of big festivals with rides and bouncy castles and big slides and entertainers, musicians, and they showcase all of the Rotary projects too. And they raise a lot of money at these events. So there's all kinds of things. Whatever your heart desires, if you as a Rotary Club or as a group of Rotary Clubs, whether it's an area or a district, want to put together something, there are so many great resources out there on the Rotary Showcase page, at that Rotary blog that I just showed you. Or if you just Google on YouTube, or Google and then go to YouTube, some videos of large Rotary Days and Rotary Days of Action. There's so much in the way of resources out there that you can find to sort of spur your imagination and give you some ideas as to what you can do. So on that note, let's knock our heads together. I was going to be, creating 6 breakout rooms, but that might be overdoing it here today. And maybe we will do one breakout room, which happens to not go anywhere. So we'll just stay here. And we'll all discuss some ideas that we'd like to see in the way of a project that can be done by a group of us, whether we're talking about our local community, our local area, district, or beyond. So who would like to start?
Go.
Okay, well, Lisa, you just put your hand up, so awesome. Oh, you're on mute.
So in my area, we have 5 clubs in our area, And last year, in conjunction with the district conference and working as an area, we did a nice, it was kind of like a combination project. We helped a center called Family Promise, where they help people who are in need of housing, but then they can stay together as a family. So our 5 different clubs each had an item or category that we provided materials. And then we all did Pints for Polio. We supported one of the clubs afterwards. And it was a lot of fun. It was obviously last October, not everybody was comfortable coming, and we still had all of those challenges. But what are your thoughts about repeating things like that? If we wanted to continue, would we go back to this same group and do it once a year for them? I will say, of the 5 clubs, 2 of our clubs have club members who are on the board of this organization. So we have a good tie-in and we have a good connection with them. But are your thoughts that we should try to build on something or rotate to something else in a next Rotary year?
Frank, I think you have a good opportunity here to talk about how you've been building on the Great Lakes Watershed Cleanup and how that's, gone back to that a few times and it's become more successful as it's growing.
Yeah, I think, Lisa, just, reaching out to, in our area, we've reached out to some of the other service clubs. We're working with Lions Club on some projects, for instance. Graham well knows this, and Elaine, we've done a Tour de Lac ride around Lake Ontario, raising money for Wellspring Niagara. So we partner with them, and the one year we had a barbecue at the end, and we just asked the Lions if they would host that for us, and they were very, more than happy to do that. The Pedal for Polio that we did last year in Niagara on the Lake, again, it was hosted by the Lions Club, so they did a barbecue at the end, because the thing is, they have those facilities that Rotary doesn't tend to have. But at first, I was kind of surprised that they would jump in, but they have. Something we do that started in Pelham, which we just finished a couple weeks ago, and the Town Recreation and Culture Department invites all the service clubs to come together, and we all speak about what it is we're doing, what our goals are for the year, what projects we're working on, fundraisers, whatever. And again, there's opportunities for some to work together with some of those groups. So that has worked out extremely well. It was initiated by the town, but we've got a Kinsman Club, Canettes, 2 Lions Club, Lionettes, the Legion, Royal Canadian Legion, and my club. And as a result of that, we're looking at trying to foster some projects where we work together. The cleanup was one of those that we just did last weekend. We got Lions involved as well for the first time.
Lisa, Graham, by the way, one of I used to belong to an AM club which merged with the South Club in St. Catharines, but one of the things that we found that worked successfully in the AM club was this was many years ago when wine tastings were not quite so common that everybody had one. But what we did was we would at our club level decide on which organization we would like to support, and we would approach them, but we would approach them on a multi-year basis and say, for the next 3 years, we've got this event and we want to develop the event and proceeds to your organization. And what we found was, because you're committing to a multi-year arrangement with that organization, they're much more inclined to get their people involved and to support you. So, just basic things like getting auction items or ticket sales and all those sorts of things. When they know it's more than a one-off event, the recipient organization tends to get much more involved, and you develop a good working relationship with them. So we used to do them 3 years at a time. And then over the course of 10 or 15 years, we have 4 or 5 organizations within the community with which we have really good ties. And we found that approach worked worked very well, as opposed to we have an event and then, oh, here's a check, this year, and we're moving on, kind of thing. It worked well.
I like that. Thank you.
Any thoughts from you, Sandra, on that?
We have a annual golf tournament and all of the proceeds go to the Children's Center in Niagara up by Brock University. And so it's every year and it goes to the same organization, and we've built some really strong ties. And we started right at the beginning when it was the Crippled Children's Center. So I think it's great to build those relationships. And, we, in our local community service, we have, one of our guidelines is that we don't continue multi-year support of any one particular, but over the pandemic, we certainly have revisited several of the places that need continuing service. So I think it's great when you can build those relationships, and as was said earlier, these people will support you in the future when you know that you are supporting them.
That's awesome. Thanks.
So on the watershed cleanup, I just got an email from someone that wants to start to do a Atlantic watershed cleanup that would involve the United States and Canada. And they were looking for information on how we got things going here with the Great Lakes. So I thought that was kind of neat that it may expand to the Atlantic Ocean.
That's
And
fantastic.
then it can go to the Pacific Ocean and involve British Columbia, Alaska, and those 3 states as well. So
Right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. How about the St. Lawrence?
Well, you know what? We already are, because one of the districts, which is I can't remember their number now, but it's the Ottawa Valley up to Pembroke, Ottawa. That district goes down to Kingston, across into eastern New York State, and up to Montreal. And so the Great Lakes cleanup included the St. Lawrence River all the way to Montreal, and the Ottawa River all the way up to Pembroke.
Right, which is fantastic. Now, if you get the Atlantic involved, you can take that St. Lawrence all the way up.
All the way through Quebec and-
it doesn't have to end there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was just something that just was sort of, my idea to do it with our district, in that, we surround 2 of the great ends of the 2 Great Lakes, and then looking at the Niagara River and the Erie Canal. And then I'd mentioned it in my training in San Diego to be governor in the January of that year of 2020. And I just mentioned to the governor-elect that was from Cambridge, and the other guy standing beside us was from Whitby, so 70-80 and 70-70. And they sort of said, well, we're on Lake Ontario, Lake, as well. Maybe we could do the same thing. And then from there, they got talking to the guy that's from Ottawa, and before you knew it, before we left San Diego, we had pretty much a good portion of the Great Lake of Lake Ontario completely covered. And then people started saying, well, what about, Lake Huron, and what about Lake Superior? And it just spread from there, just like wildfire.
Right, yes.
So just threw it out there, and I did a couple of Zoom meetings with, we ended up with, I think, 15 governors involved, and they just all jumped on board. So just blew up overnight. It was never planned, just happened. And I think the same with the Atlantic or the Pacific, or some of the really polluted rivers in the world, in China and in India, whatever, to get those done before it hits the oceans.
Mm.
And as you said, you meet people thank you. Who the hell wants to pick up garbage? But we all do, with a smile on our faces, and you feel good about it when you realize how much junk is out there. We just did a little drainage pond in Fawn Hill 2 weeks ago. And in 2 hours, about 18 of us gathered over 20 bags of garbage from around this little pond. A lot of construction stuff that had blown in. There was a backpack that was full of rotted stuff. There was a carry-on bag. There were 4x8 sheets of insulation that were 4 inches thick. Just amazing. But stuff you don't even see from the road until you actually get down into the grass and looking into the pond. And realizing how much stuff is accumulated over the winter. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah, it sure is.
Hammer.
Mhm.
Graham found a hammer.
Hammer, wow.
Happy about that.
Yeah.
I had a question about our club is heavily involved with and supporting Food for Kids. So we've had a lot of events around that. And that was our district event last fall, was doing a drive at one of the local grocery stores. And we're still pondering how we're going to participate during the Jennifer Jones event on July the 5th. And wondering whether we might do something local, possibly involving at least the 3 St. Catharines clubs, again, doing something for Food for Kids. But I'm just wondering what where people are at for July the 5th, because there's something that was Toronto centric, and then I've heard of Hamilton, and the costs, depending on how many are involved, were substantial. And we were looking at something more local, maybe a bit more feasible. If you involve more clubs and we do something on a local level. So just wondering where people are at with what they're going to do on July the 5th.
Well, what I can tell you about that, Elaine, is there's the big one in Toronto that Jennifer will be at, and Governor Ann is arranging something in Hamilton. I know my club is involved with Food for Kids as well. My wife actually delivers food every Friday for them, and one of our members' wives is a board member there. So Fond Hill has brought money in my fitness facility. I asked all my customers to bring food in, and we had a whole pickup truck full that we delivered down there. So I think that's great. And the Rotaract clubs are going to be involved with that as well as a district grant. So I think that would be great if we could talk about that and do something, maybe on July the 5th, but do it in St. Catharines and do a drive to bring food in for them. That would be great.
We just put it out to our club today to find out how many are interested in becoming involved in that particular event. So I'm sure you'll see a number of us. We helped out with the last one, and it's a great project. So Elaine,
I was going to mention you, Sandra, and just say I was wondering, yes, what was going on with your club or what your thoughts were as well.
Yeah, I know you need an answer sooner than later, but we did put it out because I just don't want to spread us too thin. We've got so much going on for the August for the Rib Fest and that, and the torch run and stuff. But I'm pretty sure that's early enough on that and we have a lot of people, like I say, that were involved before that are still interested in keeping up with that. So I'll definitely get back with numbers in this next week.
That's great to hear. Thanks.
I mean, Elaine, if we just threw it out there that every Rotarian throw a bag of food, and we'll just decide where we're going to get and have that delivered right to Food for Kids, and have each, get all 12 clubs or 14 clubs involved in the 2 Rotaract clubs. You can bring a lot of food in. It's no big deal. We just I'll go out and buy some food and arrange for maybe on that July the 5th at a specific time, have it all delivered to their site in St. Catharines.
Well, thank you for the input. That's good.
Good stuff. All right, got another quick video to show you, just to give you an idea of some of the projects being done in our district over the last little while. And this one actually features our current district governor, Lisa, or governor, I should say governor, got rid of district part of that name, but anyway, our current governor. So you may have seen this video in the past. I'm not sure if you have seen it. Well, it's always nice to revisit it. If you haven't, it's some good idea of what you can do when you get a few clubs together and want to put together a local sort of hands-on project. So let me hit my share screen here, and oops, that's what I want. There we go.
Norfolk.
Hi, my name is Rudy Atkinson, and I'm the current president of the Rotary Club of Norfolk Sunrise. I'm so excited to let you know that we've just done a fabulous day of Rotary in action. We were committed as Area 1 Rotary clubs out here in full force on the Norfolk Sunrise Trail, and just finished planting 4,200 daffodil bulbs.
was gonna say they're planting snails.
That's a lot of bulbs.
Hi, I'm Lisa Bishop from the Rotary Club of Delhi. I'm also Director of Service Projects for District 7090. We're one of 200 districts in the world. There's 1.2 million Rotarians in the world and over 33,000 clubs. It's a very large organization providing service above self. Within our area, we have the Rotary Club of Simcoe, Delhi, Norfolk Sunrise, and the Rotaract Club.
We're very, very happy to have Jim from the Rotaract Club helping us with our project today, our day of action. And we're very happy to have Lori as well with us helping digging and planting roads.
Last year, the Norfolk Sunrise Club planted 60 redbud trees along this trail, and we planted our bulbs in between these trees. And also, it's important to note that Rotary International is looking for Rotarians across the world to plant one tree every year for each Rotarian. And there are 1.2 million Rotarians in the world. So we're continuing to do our tree planting in addition to our daffodil planting, and just feel so excited to be a part of such a great project. I want to thank everybody who participated. It was such a collaborative event and just went so smoothly. Rotarians are people of action, and it's what we do. We're service above self, and so we're very honored to serve Norfolk County.
So the type of thing that can give you some fodder for thought, right? And whether that's 4 clubs, as Area 1 did together, or 68 clubs all doing something. It's, we're talking about our Great Lakes watershed cleanup, for example, where we talk 68 clubs, not 4 clubs. There's something that just feels real good about, getting your hands dirty, building something, digging in the dirt, cleaning up, whatever it is, when you're actually, you can see immediate results. And I think people love that, right? You can see a before and after right there on the day within, an hour or 2 or 3 of the work that you did together and the camaraderie that happens. The other thing you really notice in this video was there were people from 3 to 83 or whatever. There was a huge range of ages, and it's so nice to bring our community together, the family of Rotary, the friends of Rotary, and Rotarians and Rotaractors and interactors and all the different ages, maybe our past kids who participated in RILA and Slapshot. Just bring them all together for these great events that could really help the family of Rotary experience things together. Any thoughts on that? Nope. Any projects that you're working on or coming up that you'd like to see, when maybe it's something your club is doing? And a lot of these actually germinated with a club's project, like a road cleanup or like a planting project, that turned into a huge event because they invited other clubs to participate. Can you think of a project that you're working on this year that might be better if you were to bring more clubs into it?
I was going to say we did our Happy Rolfs, which was really successful, and that was bringing in community members and other Rotary clubs. But Elaine, you've got that project coming up that even our club is excited about at the hospital. You should talk about that. The garden?
You're muted.
I don't know sign language. The Claris West Hobbs Contemplative Garden, we're fundraising for that and hoping to get some grant money, but we have an area which is to the west of the hospital, where we hoped to expand upon and beautify it so that people who are in the hospital and those visiting, etc., can go out and have sort of a peaceful area, a place to gather, etc. Eric, excuse me, Eric Jones has been extremely busy organizing, working with the hospital, etc. So our club will be doing lots of things in terms of planting. We want to, I think, expand the benches. We're working on plaques, signage, etc., reaching out to other clubs. So we're very excited about that. I was going to mention before it left my mind as well, we're hoping, Sandra, to put our little lending library, to have it placed at Happy Rolf's. And I've been communicating with the city. And I think we had reached out to your club because you've done so much there. And I think just in the last few days, sort of had the green light from the city. And they'll be helping us with our post and cement. We've already constructed our little lending library and it's painted in Rotary colors, etc. So we're excited about that as well. And hope to get working on that within the next few weeks. So, but you'll be hearing lots more about the garden, and looking forward to hopefully support from other clubs, etc. And hope that it benefits everyone in the community.
Definitely. Yeah, we're excited about it too. So, and the lending library, that's great because there's a lot of kids that use that park. So
yeah, we're excited about that, and really thrilled with all the work that the downtown club has done at Happy Rolf's, everything we've done.
yeah, that project really took off and became a real big community project, and it's been really well received. So if you haven't been out there, you should take a chance and take your kids or grandkids or whatever. It's a great little spot.
We haven't been out there recently, but we need to.
No, we just ride by.
We just ride by. We'll have to stop.
Cycle by, yeah.
Well, that's great. Certainly Margaret Andrews, who really championed the Little Lending Libraries, would be glad to hear one more popping up there. Yeah. That's fantastic. Make sure to get a picture off to her because she likes to know where they all are and what they're all about. And she often will put together great little slideshows and have them presented at district conference that has all the Little Lending Libraries presented in a great way and letting everybody know what's going on. So in the chat, I posted one final document on the Rotary Days of Service. It's actually I'll quickly share my screen. Nothing groundbreaking that we haven't already talked about, but here's the document. You can all see it now. So this is from district. It's on the Rotary Days of Service, and just quickly going over it because we have to get out of this room, get ready for final plenary. This is a little bit of a blurb from our current president, Shekhar Mehta, and it gives you a quick idea of how to get inspired and come up with some ideas. Some of the links to resources available on the district that are available to you, a bit of a blurb on planning your event and connecting with other organizations, how to promote your event and then celebrate the accomplishments at the end. So feel free to please download that. I'll stop sharing now. It's in the chat and you can use that for your days of action. So I want to thank everybody for coming this morning. It would have been, I think it was nice having actually a small intimate group. The discussions are often better when it's a small intimate group. And thanks so much to Frank for being here and presenting and telling us all about this incredible Canada Games project that's coming up this summer.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
And everybody enjoy the rest of your day. See you all in the plenary session in a few minutes after we sign out of here. You can take a quick bio break or top up your water, your tea, or your coffee, and see you back in the main room. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Take care.
Yep.